Okay, ready for a deep dive into a world that'll really make you think?
I'm ready when you are.
All right, so today we're taking on The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. And let me tell you, this book, it stays with you. It makes you look twice at, well, everything.
It's definitely thought-provoking.
So picture this. You're Grace, retired math teacher, life's kind of settled down, right? And then out of the blue, you get this letter. But not just any letter. Oh no, this one's from a long-lost friend, Christina, and it flips her world upside down.
Yeah, Haig is so good at setting up these immediate conflicts. You've got Grace, a woman who loves logic, finds comfort in numbers, and suddenly she's being pulled into this world of the unknown. It's
Yeah.
really clever, pulls the reader in, especially if you relate to Grace, that need for things to make sense.
Exactly right. Like, even the biggest skeptic can't resist a good mystery. And trust me, this one's got intrigue in spades. Christina, she hints at her own death, and get this, leaves Grace a house in Ibiza. Talk about a change of scenery. From quiet Lincoln to, well, Ibiza, that's a whole other vibe.
In Ibiza, it's more than just a pretty location in this book. Haig uses the island's history, all those mystical vibes, those legends, to really build the atmosphere. It's almost like Ibiza itself becomes a character, pushing Grace and the reader along with her to confront some tough stuff, grief, searching for answers, and even questioning what's real.
And Ibiza, it doesn't disappoint, that's for sure. As Grace starts exploring the island, you really feel that contrast. On the one hand, you have this vibrant energy, almost chaotic at times. And then there's Grace dealing with her grief, this growing sense of unease.
Yeah, it's like the island is reflecting her emotions back at her.
Exactly.
It's really fascinating how Haig doesn't just use the setting as a backdrop. He brings in Ibiza's history, all those stories about mystical forces, local legends, and it all kind of blends with the mystery of Christina's death and this inheritance.
It's like the island itself is whispering secrets.
Right.
And who better to guide us through those secrets than Alberto Ribas? Now, this character, he's one of a kind, that's for sure. Always got his pet snake around his shoulders, dropping these cryptic comments.
Well, yeah, Alberto is a trip.
But you get the feeling he holds the key to understanding not just Christina, but this La Presencia she mentioned.
Totally. Alberto, he's like a guide for Grace in every sense, a bridge between the familiar and the completely unknown.
The logical and the unexplainable.
Exactly. And his belief in La Presencia, this unseen force in the ocean, it challenges Grace's skepticism head on.
Forces her to see things in a whole new way.
And that's what's so great about this book. It
Yeah.
makes you question your own perceptions of what's real.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of questioning reality, Grace's first encounter with La Presencia during a night dive, that's intense. Imagine sudden darkness, flickering lights under the water, and this feeling of being pulled by something you can't even see.
Yeah, that would shake anyone up.
Big time.
But this encounter, it's a turning point for Grace. Because La Presencia, it's not just some light show. It feels alive.
Purposeful.
Right. And I think Haig uses this to explore the idea of human potential. Like we all have these hidden depths, these abilities just waiting to be tapped into.
And La Presencia, it's like a catalyst.
Exactly. It pushes Grace, and maybe even the reader, to ask, what if we're capable of so much more than we realize?
And boy, does Grace start to realize it. Suddenly, she's got these talents popping up left and right. She can hear what a stray cat's thinking, predict the future. I mean, talk about hitting the jackpot on hidden potential.
Right. It's wild.
But it's not all, deep thoughts and changing the world. Some of this newfound ability is just pure fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, there's this scene where Grace walks into a casino, and let's just say she breaks the bank at the roulette wheel.
Who hasn't wished they could do that, right?
Right. Talk about putting those talents to good use.
Exactly. And Haig does a great job of weaving in those lighter moments, reminding us that embracing the unknown doesn't have to be heavy.
There's joy in it, too.
Definitely. And for Grace, it's like she's rediscovering pleasure, finding joy in things she'd taken for granted. There's this part where she's describing a glass of orange juice, and it's like a revelation for her. Just a simple pleasure, but so powerful after everything she's been through.
Makes you realize how much we take for granted, right?
Absolutely.
But just when you think Grace's life is all sunshine and, well, winning streaks, Haig throws in another twist.
Of course he does.
This time it comes in the form of Art Butler, this big-time developer, and he's got his sights set on Ibiza's natural beauty, especially this mystical spot called Esvedra.
Ah, yes, Art Butler. He represents something we see a lot in the real world, unfortunately.
That greed.
Exactly. That desire to exploit nature for profit without a thought for the consequences.
And that's where the story takes this really profound turn. There's this scene, Grace is walking through Ibiza town, And suddenly, she's not just seeing people, she's feeling them.
Oh, I remember that part.
Their emotions, their thoughts. It's like this wave washing over her. It's overwhelming, but also kind of beautiful in a way. This sense of interconnectedness, you know?
It's Haig at his best, using those moments to highlight empathy, the idea that we're all connected in ways we might not even realize.
And it all builds to this climax on the beach, Calidor, Grace confronting Art Butler. The tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. And then, out of nowhere, this massive flock of birds descends, chaos everywhere. And in the midst of it all, Art Butler, he doesn't make it, but Haig leaves it open-ended.
Right. Was it an accident, or did nature itself intervene?
It's chilling. Makes you wonder if nature has its own way of balancing the scales.
A fitting end, considering everything that led up to it.
And after everything, Grace makes a choice. She decides to stay on Ibiza, find a new purpose in protecting the island, the magic that's there.
It feels right, like she's found where she's supposed to be.
And there's even a reunion with Carl, but it's in Salacia, this dreamlike place beyond the veil of reality. It's bittersweet, but hopeful.
It speaks to that idea that even in loss, even in uncertainty, there's always the possibility for connection.
And in the end, that's what Haig leaves us with, this message of hope. That even in the face of the impossible, even when life throws you curveballs, there's always beauty to be found, wonder in the everyday.
It's a powerful message, and it makes you want to step outside, take a look around, and embrace the impossible, just like Grace did.